What's up, guys? DrFeelGood here, back again with another video prescription. And today I want to talk about these crazy ass third parties. I really would like to know the reasoning behind some of their decisions. Whether it be business or personal, I want to know the reasoning behind it. I do. And I'm going to elaborate as to why. Okay? Bear with me, okay? The reason for the title of this video is because I do think it is very irrational. I do think that most of the decisions they make, for whatever reason, are very, very irrational. You know, even if someone is paying them to make certain decisions, that person paying them may have their own intentions, but as to why third parties will even consider that when it actually more than likely hinders or hurts them as a business, it's still irrational to me. That's also irrational. For example, if I pay you, a third party company, pay you to not do something that could potentially put money in your pocket, the only reason that would be a rational decision to make as far as you accepting my proposal is if I'm paying you enough money to compensate you for the loss that you're going to endure for not taking my offer. You see what I'm saying? So let me put it out there in layman's terms. If Sony paid Capcom for Street Fighter V, I really believe they did. I can't say I know, but I know. But let's say Sony paid Capcom to make Street Fighter V completely exclusive, right? Let's just say console exclusive. The only rational reason for Capcom to accept that deal is if Sony paid them enough money to compensate them for the potential sales they would have gotten had they ported the game to the Xbox One, the PC, Nintendo Switch, Wii U, or whatever other platforms they were considering. That would be the only reason to even remotely consider that deal, if they're compensating you at least for some of those platforms, or at least for one of them, right? I hope that's the case, but I pretty much know it's not. But let's move on. Another reason why I think some of the decision making they've made over the last decade is so irrational is this. During the 8th gen, a lot of major games were also being ported to the PC. Some released simultaneously on the PC while others were ported later. Some, like Call of Duty, are available day one on PC, while games like Grand Theft Auto 5, Quantum Break, even though it's an exclusive game, as well as even like the likes of Tomb Raider, were ported later on down the line to the PC. Okay? And you may be thinking, okay, DrFeelGood, what's wrong with that? I mean, it's extra money. Let me tell you why I think that is still very irrational. Because when they port these games to the PC, we'll hear some excuse of why they can't port to the Switch, right? Or any Nintendo console. Now, in my last video entitled The Forgotten Truth, I mentioned a few games and their PC sales. And in case you didn't watch that or you have forgotten, or you don't remember, I'll bring them back up. Let's take, for example, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It sold 26 million units, over 26 million units worldwide across 5 different platforms. That's PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. 26 million units. That's good, right? That's roughly a little bit over 5 million units per platform, correct? If you average it out. The PC community only amounted to 300,000 of that. Yeah. Ew. That's garbage. That's garbage. So, if you have made the bulk of your money, pretty much I would say over 90% of your money, your revenue, your profitability, whatever, has come from the console fan base, what the fuck were you thinking when you decided to port this to the PC community? To the PC platform? And of course, this wasn't ported. This released alongside. But this ain't the first Call of Duty in which this has happened. It's not the only one. And it's not the only franchise or game. It really isn't. Literally, 300,000 units out of 26 million plus. That's sad. Okay, let's take a game that was ported later on, right? Grand Theft Auto 5 was ported later on to the PS4, Xbox One, then ported to the PC, right? Let's look at this. Across 5 different platforms, over 70 million units sold. Probably one of the highest. It is one of the highest selling games of all time. Slightly overrated, but that's another topic. Guess how many were purchased by the PC community? 1.35 million. Ooh. And last I checked, Grand Theft Auto 5 cost over $250 million to make. So $250 million to make this game before you get to the advertising and promotions. $250 million. You think 1.35 million units pays the bills? Not even close. It barely keeps the lights on, to be honest. That's sad. What rationale did they have to port that game to the PC? Just over 1 million sold? That means over 70 million sold, and roughly 65 million plus were on consoles. Well, damn. But, and you'll port this to the PC and get less than 2% of the install base. That's what the 1.35 million amounts to, less than 2% of the total install base of this game. Yet, you won't port this game to a Nintendo console? I'm pretty sure you can get 500,000 units sold. Hell, I'm pretty sure on the Wii U, you would have got 1 million. And that only has 14 million install base. You would have got 1 million. Even on the Switch now, you would port Grand Theft Auto 5 to the Switch, you're guaranteed 1 million units. I'll take that back. I say you're guaranteed 500,000 units. Guaranteed. That's well over a third of what is sold on the PC. And we've heard that the Switch is the easiest to program for, to develop for. We've heard this, right? But that's some abysmal ass numbers for the PC community. I mean, I know the port probably cost them $100 million to do, but they literally pretty much made little to no money off of that port, not in comparison to the consoles. See what I mean by irrational reasoning? What was the thought process in that board of directors meeting? Was it, oh, we've already made billions of dollars, let's throw away some money? I mean, they didn't take a loss for sure. At least I don't think they did. I don't think it would. I think they, I mean, even with the million sales, they get roughly 48. I say about $40 for each sale back to them. That's still $40 million if they just sell 1 million. So they still made a little chunk of change, but not compared to what they made on the consoles. On the consoles, they made billions. So making $40 million or so on the PC, come on, man. You probably paid a good $5 million to port it in some way, shape, or fashion. In other words, you didn't make much. You did turn a profit, you didn't make much. But the point is this. if you port to the PC and that's all you got with less than 2%, why not port to a Nintendo console? Why not? Let me give you another example. Like I said, all these games I mentioned in my last video. But Overwatch, like the art style. I would never buy that game though because it's only online. So that's a no-no for me. But sold over 6 million units. Only 830,000 copies were from the PC fan base. Yikes. Less than 20%. Better than Grand Theft Auto 5, but in terms of ratio, but still, the ratio is decent. The rationale is still garbage. It really is. Let's look at one that to me is a very, very abysmal. NBA 2K, right? That is the most coveted basketball IP out there. NBA Live is pretty much dead. NBA Playgrounds is fun, but it's not going to sell NBA 2K numbers. It's not. It's pretty much the only basketball sim remaining. But NBA 2K17 it sold over 5 million units. That's pretty good, right? Only 30,000 of the PC fan base. That is garbage. That's less than, my gosh. That's sad. That's less than 1%, I believe. 10% would be 500,000. 1% would be 50,000. They sold to less than 1% of the in total install base. PC. So again, in their board meeting, what was the thought process when they decided to port that game or make a version for the PC? I'm pretty sure this number doesn't get that much better, if at all, with past iterations. And I'm pretty sure 2K18 is also heading to PC. You see what I'm getting at, folks? So in saying this, and I can go on and on, I can mention a whole bunch of games. Almost every PC version of a console multiplat sells like, I don't know. It sells like hot shit. I mean that by a steaming pile of shit on the side of a road that's covered in flies and maggots. It's horrible. It's sad. 30,000 units? How much money you make off that if you pull it? Let's say you pull $40 out of every retail sale. You need $1 million to make $40 million. But you sold 30,000? That's horrible. Hell, 400,000 copies would have got them $4 million if they make $40 off every unit sold. And even on top of that, my gosh, that's sad, man. They made peanuts. They probably took a loss on the PC version. And I know other games may not have taken such a hit, and other games, I will admit, have done better. Titanfall, 2.6 million sold, but only 170,000 for the PC community. That's better, but still less than 10%. Same thing with other big franchises. Battlefield is horrible. The comparison to the console fan base sales is horrible. So, like I said, what excuse do they have for creating or porting a multiplat to a PC, but not to a Nintendo console? And you know what makes this worse? You hear gamers out there, the PC gamers, state that there are way more PC gamers than console gamers. You're right, technically. But there are a lot of people out there that strictly play Facebook games like Candy Crush and stuff like that. Very, very few. So, still, like I said, I really want to know if you're willing to port this game to the PC and get abysmal sales, why not to a Nintendo console? I'm pretty sure Nintendo console you'll do better than that, especially if there's no competition. See what I mean? Irrational reasoning. In my opinion, if nothing else, there is no excuse not to port their games to any console, since they historically sell many times better than on the PC, unless they're being paid not to. That's all I'm saying. Unless they're being paid not to. And of course, I'm going to bring this up. This is a little salt wound, but Lawbreakers is flopping on the PC. A week after launch, it only has roughly 3,000 active players, down 7,000 from the beta. This is a week after launch. No wonder it's coming to the PS4. And it will probably do better than it is on the PC, but it's still going to be a flop, in my opinion. Hey, but the Switch don't have enough buttons, right? Irrational reasoning. Like I said, you should port that game to every damn console to make back your money at this point. You really should. And on a smaller note, this is in the past, of course, but when I look back at the 7th gen, did you know the Wii got 3 Call of Duty games? They got the first Modern Warfare, which they call Modern Warfare Reflex. They had World at War, and they had Modern Warfare 3. 3 games. The power gap in the 7th gen between the Wii and the HD Twins was monumental. The HD Twins had 512 megabytes of RAM versus the Wii's 88. And it still got Call of Duty running 480p 60 frames per second. Yet, you can't port Black Ops 3 to the Wii U, which is pushing 2 gigs of RAM. 2 gigs of RAM versus the 512 megabytes of RAM on the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions, and of course the 8 gigs of RAM on the PS4 and Xbox One. But you can't port it to the Wii U. No, Nintendo just want to pay you for it. That's all it was. Irrational reasoning. And they ported it to the PC. But guess what? Like I said earlier, it only sold 300,000 copies on the PC. Black Ops 3, 300,000 copies. So I know the Wii U can handle PS4 and Xbox One ports, having less of a power gap, and the Switch even more so. Even less of a power gap if you really want to put it out there technically. So what's the reasoning? It all seems irrational. Lawbreaker, Switch ain't got enough buttons. Titanfall 2, even though I think it was misquoted, but of course the fan base was saying that the game couldn't possibly run or fit on a Switch. Batman Arkham Knight, the Wii U can't handle a Batmobile. Come on, man. I'm just saying, these dudes are crazy. The reasoning don't make any sense. It does not make any sense. But this is, I cannot believe that we really have not noticed this and made these third parties answer for it. Like I said, based on these numbers, there's no reason to ever bring a game to the PC. Ever. Not over a console. Now, I understand Nintendo consoles may sell less copies when compared to the other ones, but historically, console games sell more than PC games. So, just saying. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. And until next time, keep it gaming.